Hebrew punctuation is similar to that of English and other Western languages. Modern Hebrew having imported additional punctuation marks from these languages in order to avoid the ambiguities sometimes occasioned by the relative paucity of such symbols in Biblical Hebrew. Punctuation, quotation marks with most printed Hebrew texts from the early 1970s and before opening quotation marks are low and closing ones are high, often going above the letters themselves. An example of this system is, however, this distinction in Hebrew between opening and closing quotation marks has completely disappeared, and today, quotations are punctuated as they are in English with both quotation marks high. This is due to the advent of the Hebrew keyboard layout, which lacks the opening quotation mark, as well as to the lack in Hebrew of smart quotes as found in Microsoft Word for many other languages. In addition, the quotation mark is often used for the similar-looking but different Gershon mark, as that too is absent from the Hebrew keyboard. Period, question mark, exclamation mark, comma, periods, question marks, exclamation marks, and commas are used as in English. A Hebrew period in a traditional serif face usually looks like a tiny tilted square. This is also true for the dot part of the question mark and exclamation mark. In Arabic, which is also written from right to left, the question mark is mirrored right to left from the English question mark. Hebrew is also written right to left, but uses a question mark that appears on the page in the same orientation as the English, colon and sof pasuk, stemming from Biblical Hebrew. A sof pasuk is the equivalent of a period, and is used in some writings such as prayer books. Since a sof pasuk is absent from the Hebrew keyboard layout and looks very similar to the colon, a colon is often substituted for it. Vertical bar and pasok also coming from Biblical Hebrew. A pasok is used as a word separator, also not on a standard Hebrew keyboard. A vertical bar is often used instead. The vertical bar, a standard key on any keyboard, is used in English for such applications as mathematics and computing. Hyphen and Makarov. The Makarov is the Hebrew hyphen, and has virtually the same purpose for connecting two words as in English. It is different from the hyphen in its positioning and it has a biblical origin, unlike many other modern Hebrew punctuation symbols, which have simply been imported from European languages. The Makarov is well used in Hebrew typography. Most books and newspapers use it and have the hyphens higher than one would find in English. In online writing, however, it is rarely used because it was absent from the Hebrew keyboard layout on Microsoft Windows until Windows 8. As a result, a standard English hyphen is most often used in online writings. This situation can be compared to that of users writing in Latin alphabets using the easily available hyphen minus over hyphen, minus minus, n dash, and m dash. Brackets, parentheses, brackets or parentheses are the same in Hebrew as in English. Since Hebrew is written from right to left, becomes an opening bracket and a closing bracket, the opposite from English, which is written left to right. Israeli currency sign. The shekel sign is the currency sign for the Israeli currency, in the way dollar, pound, and euro exist for other currencies. The shekel sign, like the dollar sign dollar, is usually placed to the left of the number, but since Hebrew is written from right to left, the symbol is actually written after the number. It is either not separated from the preceding number, or is separated only by a thin space. Unlike the dollar sign, the new shekel sign is not used that often when handwriting monetary amounts, and is generally replaced by the abbreviation apostrophe and quotation marks. The geresh is the Hebrew equivalent of a period in abbreviations, in addition to being attached to Hebrew letters to indicate the soft G and CH sounds in foreign names such as Charles and Jake. The Gershayim is a Hebrew symbol indicating that a sequence of characters is an acronym, and is placed before the last character of the word. Owing to Hebrew keyboards having neither a Geresh nor Gershayim, they are usually replaced online with, respectively, the visually similar apostrophe and quotation mark. The quotation mark and apostrophe are higher than the Geresh and Gershayim, where the latter are placed level with the top of Hebrew letters. The apostrophe and quotation marks are above them. Some Hebrew-specific fonts, such as David, Narcism and Frank Ruel, do not feature the apostrophe and quotation marks as such but use the Geresh and Gershayim to substitute for them. Mathematics. Mathematical expressions are written in Israel using the same symbols as in English, including Western numerals, which are written left to right. The only variant that exists is an alternative plus sign, which is a plus sign which looks like an inverted capital T. Unicode has this symbol at position U plus FB29, Hebrew letter alternative plus sign. However, most books for adults use the international symbol plus. Reversed nun. Reversed nun is a rare character found in two biblical Hebrew texts. Although in Judaic literature it is known as nun hafaka, it does not function as any sort of letter in the text. It is not part of a word, and it is not read aloud in any way. It is simply a mark that is written, and is therefore a punctuation mark, not a letter. Also, it is surrounded by space. While it depends on the particular manuscript or printed edition, it is found in 9 places, twice in the Book of Numbers, and 7 times in Psalm chapter 107. It is uncertain today what it was intended to signify. In many manuscripts, it does not even resemble a transformed nun at all, and when it does, it sometimes appears reversed, sometimes inverted, and sometimes turned through 180 degrees. Other times it appears to look like the letter Z. Hebrew points. These signs indicate vowelling or some other aspects of the pronunciation of a letter or word. While in modern Hebrew they are not generally used outside poetry and children's books, a vowel point or other diacritic is occasionally added to resolve ambiguity. One of these, nekado, the raf, is no longer used in Hebrew, even though it is routinely used in Yiddish spelling. Hebrew cantillation marks. The cantillation marks have a very specialized use. They are only found in printed Hebrew texts of Tanakh to be used as a guide for chanting the text, either from the printed text or, in the case of the public reading of the Torah, to be memorized along with vowel marks, as the Sefer Torah includes only the letters of the text without cantillation of vowel marks. Outside the Tanakh, the cantillation marks are not used in modern spoken or written Hebrew at all. The cantillation marks provide a structure to sentences of Tanakh similar to that provided by punctuation marks.